You've been researching your move to Richmond because you currently live, well, someplace other than Richmond, Virginia, and you're ready to do the boots on the ground to figure out where you really want to live.
And it goes a little something like.
My name's Liz. I sell real estate in Richmond, Virginia, and I want to help you with this process. You're going to probably either drive here or fly here, maybe even take the train. Did you know that's a thing? Yes, the train is a thing, the Amtrak train in Richmond. But in your mind, you probably have created a story about what Richmond is based on what you've seen on the internet. And I can tell you, we can paint a pretty picture of what Richmond is. Think of the history, think of the old buildings, think of the cobblestones. I know. I don't want you to get here and realize that maybe there's 3 streets with cobblestones and the rest of it, maybe suburbia in a way. So I want to set you up for success. And in this video, we're going to do just that. I moved from outside of Richmond to Richmond about 5 years ago. And we're going to go over a few things I wish I would have known. We're going to go over what I would do if I were to do it again. We're going to go over like best practices of what to do if you're just here for the weekend. Stuff like that that's going to make your move to Richmond easier. I make a video every week, and I'd love for you to watch them. So go ahead, subscribe below, ring the bell, get notified, and you know what? Leave me a comment because I read the comments and I want to interact with you. And if you're ready to reach out, feel free to reach out to me because I want to work with you. Let's get started. Now, if you've watched any of my other videos, you know that I moved here from the Portland, Oregon area. And when I did so, I didn't necessarily want to move. I came here a couple times. My husband had a job transfer and I got on the airplane probably twice and I looked for houses and I explored the area. But I didn't have anyone local telling me the ins and the outs. As your real estate agent, I'm not necessarily allowed to steer you in any way, but I can guide you to the areas of town and you can do your own research. What do I mean by that? I want you to take some time to what's the north versus the south? What's the east versus the west? I want you to get a car and drive around. I, as your real estate agent, can give you 5 houses in 5 different places that meet your criteria, but may be very different. No one did that for me when I moved here because I was a real estate agent and I could do it myself. That was probably pretty dumb, frankly. I wish I would have had someone just like me be like, let me help you. Tell me exactly what you want in a house and in an area and give me options and let me explore based on that criteria and the options. I would love to do that for just someone like you. Here's things you're going to want to consider. What is your job like? Do you have to go to a job every day in the same place? And where is that place? For instance, I've had people that move here from out of state and their office is going to be by the airport. And they want to have a certain amount of land and they want a certain size of house and they want to spend a certain amount of money on a house. And they think they want to live close to the airport. Well, the airport's on the east side of town, and which is great, but maybe the criteria of what they want other than where their work is does not line up. And when I give them other options, they're like, well, what else you got? Because I don't like any of these options. And I'm like, okay, cool. Are you open to driving a little bit? And they're like, no, I want to be 5 minutes from my office. Okay, well then here are your options. So I want you to really be open when you move to Richmond to maybe driving a little bit more than you thought you were going to. Here's the best part. Even though I live 30 minutes from my current office, it only takes me 30 minutes. There's no traffic involved. So I get on Highway 64 and I drive whatever the speed limit is, straight. I get off an exit and I'm at my office. It's the same every day. There's no like traffic involved. There's no thinking involved, frankly. And that's a beautiful thing because moving from Portland, moving from the San Francisco area, there was traffic every day and I was bananas by the time I got here. So consider the location of your work, consider the areas around your work, and work with someone who's been here before and knows locally what things are really like. Another thing I wish I would have known is access to restaurants, access to shopping, access to the things I like to do in my life. When I have a someone moving here from outside the area that's used to DoorDash, used to their groceries being delivered, used to being able to run to a restaurant or even walk to someplace. I need to know what your life is like, and you're going to want to think about how your life is currently and if you want it to be the same when you get here. Are all of those things available? Yes. If you want walkability, I got a condo in the museum district that's going on the market tomorrow that would be perfect for you. But maybe you want a yard because you have 3 big dogs. That condo that's walkable ain't gonna be for you. You're gonna wanna move to maybe someplace like Willow Lawn where you could buy a house with a little yard, but you could still walk to someplace. I just need to know what your life is currently like. So start making a list. Must-haves versus like to have versus maybe not. So then I can help kind of guide you again to, you might consider this or that or this, and then you could go explore those areas. I wish I would have explored a little bit more. I had a few stories in my mind. Can I tell you one of them? It was a ridiculous story. I'm not even sure I can share this, but if I share my story, then, well, maybe you can learn from me. So when I got here, someone told me at some point that north of the river and south of the river mattered. What does that even mean? What does it matter? Well, they're 2 different locations, but in their mind, their opinion was it mattered in some way. What way it mattered, I don't even remember at this point, but they told me, and so that got in my brain, and so then I started working on that, and I was only going to live north of the river. So then south of the river, I didn't even consider Midlothian. I didn't even consider Chesterfield. I didn't even consider Powhatan because this silly story that some random person told me at the gym. Like, what was that about? I have no idea. I don't want that for you. I want you to come here with an open mind. Look at all the areas. Because sometimes when people come and they're like, I must live right here. And I'm like, but have you considered right here? And they won't even look at it. It could be the perfect place. It could be the perfect house. Could really work for them. But since they're so stuck in this story, they won't even look. So I encourage you, have an open mind. And those stories about north of the river and south of the river, at least be open-minded enough to look. Because you know what? Bon Air is beautiful. And they have some great places to eat. And they have in Midlothian the ACAC Fitness Club, which is wonderful. And if I would have looked at those neighborhoods, maybe I wouldn't have to drive 45 minutes to get there every time I want to go. Just know that there's lots of options in Richmond. Let's get back to convenience. I don't know if you've seen any of my TikToks. If not, link them below. You can go to my TikTok account and check them out. I make a lot of short form videos about the circle, meaning Richmond is a circle, and outside this circle there are things you're going to want to consider. Some of the things are basic services, meaning I don't have trash service, I don't have high-speed internet, and to get to the food kitty it takes 20 minutes, meaning the grocery store. Can I get to the gas station in 10? Yes. Is there a Dollar General probably 11 minutes from my house? Yes. But how often am I going to go to the Dollar General? Like, I just not. If I need milk, yes. I want you to consider, I don't have groceries delivered to my house. It's too far away. The delivery fee is too much. I never have my dinner delivered to me. If I want to go to dinner, it's at least 20 minutes away. If I'm going into town for swimming, I better go to the grocery store on the way home. It really changes how you live your life if you're going to live outside of the circle. People make fun of me all the time for saying it. I just know that if you're used to convenience, you're going to want to consider it. I also want you to think about, again, your lifestyle. Richmond offers you downtown high-rise living. I've had clients who I've put in beautiful high-rise condos that look over the James River that are like a chef's kiss to busy downtown urban living. Like, beautiful, love it. When I closed on it, I looked at the James River and thought, I could live here. Modern, beautiful, all the things. I've also sold homes in the museum district on Monument Boulevard that have the cobblestones that are beautiful historic homes. Those people are happy there because they want that type of life. I've also sold homes in Willow Lawn that's just like, I like to call it old suburbia, meaning it's what suburbia was before suburbia kept growing. Urban sprawl, right? So the houses again are going to have a little bit of charm. They're going to be brick Cape Cods. They're just I like to think of them as old Richmond. Are they that old? Some of them really are, and some of them, they're just, 1970s, 1980s. And then as you're working your way west, you're going to get into the Tuckahoe neighborhoods, University of Richmond, River Road areas. Amazing history and beautiful homes and old neighborhoods and wide streets and tree line. I mean, it's just amazing. So I just want you to consider, what do you like? What do you want your life to be like? Because it's different here compared to other places. I recently had a client that found me on TikTok, then they watched my YouTube videos, and they were coming from Texas. And you know what they wanted? Trees. Trees? Yeah, we don't have trees in Texas, Liz. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, we got trees here. And you know what? They ended up moving south of the river where there's trees. There's trees all over Richmond, but they fell in love with a planned neighborhood that had all the things that they wanted for their young family. They wanted to be able to go on walks. They wanted paths. They wanted access to the reservoir. They wanted a certain place for their son or daughter to go to school. Those things were important to them. So we gave them options. I want you to go look here, 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 and here. And they did so. They drove around. We wouldn't even meet to the afternoon because I'd give them a list of homes. They'd go check it out in the morning. And they'd cross 4 of them off because they didn't like this, this, or this. I really encourage you to do A, some pre-homework, B, spend some time when you get here, C, be open to the other areas that maybe you haven't thought of. Because since I've lived here for over 5 years, I just know things, right? I just know how people live here. I know how the neighborhoods are. I know how the schools are. Now, I'm not allowed to this is better than that. It's not what I'm here for, but I am here to give you lots of options and to tell you about the things that I've learned since being here that's going to make you moving here, it's going to make it a better experience. Let me give you one more example. I had some people, again, on the internet, people just like you watching my videos. They reached out to me through the DMs and they're like, hey, is this available in this area? And I was like, yeah, that's available. And they were like, because we're moving from this place and we really would like kind of the same thing, but we're not sure because we've never been down there before, and we'd like you to tell us the truth. So it was a very, very specific thing, and so I was able to go get in my car and drive over there and send them some video so they could kind of really the specific thing they cared about, get information about that. You are going to be different from them. You're going to be different from the people that wanted trees. Maybe you want no trees. Maybe you didn't want a yard. So I want you to know that it's all available. That's why people are looking at Richmond, because it has a lot of everything, yet it still has that small area feel and not so much traffic. And in my opinion, it doesn't have as much, hype as a big city, right? Because it's not. It's a mid-sized city that offers you the things you're going to like: good food, good shopping, access to everything you might like. And it's just nice living here. I love it. I wake up in the morning, I found the place that's good for me. Luckily, because I happen to be married to someone who's really good at finding our next house. I'm the real estate agent, yet he's the one that has the magic touch. It's a whole nother video. I want you to know that I'm here to help and that Richmond can offer you things that maybe you hadn't considered yet. That's why people keep coming here. That's why even though other areas might be not as popular currently in the marketplace, Richmond is still super popular and going to be a great place for someone just like you. I want to remind you, my name is Liz Brown. This is my channel. I want you to subscribe because I want to keep pouring value into you. Go ahead, ring the bell, subscribe, and leave me a comment what you agree with and what you don't. Till next time.